Well, we've had some really cold weather this winter in Tennessee, but now it's warming up. It's just February, but we're having a warm spell, so I'm going to take advantage of that and work on some plumbing on the 73 Holiday Rambler. When we got it, it seemed that maybe it hadn't been winterized at some point, had a few leaks. I fixed one that was in the rear where the water came in the back side and went under the bed in the back. There was a pipe there that was frozen and burst. Got that already fixed. And there's another couple of places underneath here, under the kitchen, where I'm going to have to do some work. So I'm going to work on that now. So I'm underneath the camper and under the kitchen area, and one of the leaks is in the burst pipe is right here in this area. I don't think that these pipes coming down, I guess these are drain pipes for winterizing. I don't really think they're original. There's a little access panel that's gone and these pipes are sticking down, so I think this was probably added after the fact, but there's a fitting right here that's cracked, you can see, and I think it's kind of a T. It goes, so the pipe comes in from the back where the water supply is and then goes here and then goes up into the kitchen cabinet and then goes to the water heater. So as a result of not winterizing, I'm sure water settled right there and was not removed, or didn't have any pink antifreeze put in, so it froze and cracked that fitting. So I'm not much of a plumber, but I think I'm going to have to just kind of take this apart a little at a time, kind of like a puzzle, and then try to put it back together. This one I've already got loose, and I'll take it out. And then that goes up through the floor up into the cabinet, kitchen cabinet. So I'm going to go in and take a look at that. So here's the inside in the kitchen area, and this is where that pipe comes up through the floor. The water heater is right there. So I think if I can just take that fitting loose and then remove everything so that I can twist that off from underneath, then I can get a new one and put there and put it all back together. I've already loosened these, so this will come off. Bend that back just a little, and then this I've already loosened as well. So when I get that off, I'll probably have to go underneath and maybe try to pull that pipe down a little bit. Actually, this is a short pipe coming through that fitting. I may be able to pull that pipe down and then twist the whole thing off, but I'll just have to see how that's going to work. I was finally able to get the old fitting off from the end of this pipe right here that goes up into the cabinet under the kitchen, and got another one, so I'm going to attach that, and going to put some pipe tape on here first, and I'm going to attach that and then bring a pipe down from the inside into this one, and then the pipe coming out the bottom will come down like this other pipe. Here's the underside after I've gotten everything put back together. This drain pipe here, I went ahead and took the end off of it and used the wire brush on it to get it all, the threads all cleaned up, and put pipe tape on there, and then put that cap back on there. And the same with this fitting right here that goes into the T. I did that too, so that everything would have a good tight snug fit with the pipe tape. So I think it looks like it's in pretty good shape. Have to test it out when I get everything else fixed and make sure I don't have any leaks. The next leak that I have to fix is this connection between two iron pipes underneath the kitchen. I don't know if this was original or added later, but obviously it froze and burst at some point. And you'll notice that this copper tubing has two curves, kind of an S, a little bit of an S shape. So I was going to try to use PEX, but I got to looking at the PEX, and I thought maybe it would be more flexible because it's going to have to go in between two iron pipes, which aren't going to move very much, and it was difficult getting this one out. And I think the PEX, once it's in that short of a piece, I don't think it's going to be much more flexible than this copper tubing. And the crimp tool was pretty expensive, so I think I'm going to try to put another piece of copper tubing in there. I shaped a piece of copper tubing that came from a larger piece that had a leak in it, so I cut this piece out of a good section of that, and was going to use it for the replacement. But when I went to put the brass sleeve on the end, it wouldn't fit. So what's happened is, over time, this copper tubing has expanded a little bit. It's probably frozen a few times and then finally burst in that other spot. So it's actually bigger than what you would buy. So this is a 1/2 inch outside diameter. I think it's 3/8 inch inside diameter. So I had to buy some new copper tubing, and so I made this one to fit. And so you can see that the brass sleeve goes in there fine, and this one's from the other end. So I'll go ahead and see if I can make that fit on there now. In order to get the copper tubing with the compression fittings in between here, I had to make a block that would allow me to push this pipe back to the left, and I've got a wedge here that I've been pushing through there to push that back. So inside each of these brass fittings, the copper tubing has to go in probably 1/2 to maybe 3/4 of an inch inside there, and so I had to spread these apart in order to get that to go in there. I think I've got it just about right, so I'm going to try to fit that in there now. Alright, here's the joint after I've got it put back together. So I'm going to hook up the water and see if we have any leaks.